Welcome to Tech This Way.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
How are you, man?
Alhamdulillah, baik-baik. Apa khabar?
Okay. Where
Yeah.
are you dialing in from?
From the office.
Oh, office is where?
Tamarin Square.
Okay.
So I went out today to buy some groceries. Village groceries downstairs. So I just go to office lah.
So you don't normally go in lah.
2 times a week around that.
Okay, cool.
2 times a week. Normally Monday, Wednesday, or maybe Wednesday, Friday, something like that lah.
Right. Anyway, thanks a lot for making the time, man, to join this.
Itulah, at last akhirnya ada. Last time we texted tiba-tiba PKP lah, MCO and all, so dah.
That's why this would have been better live lah, face to face. Tapi too long to wait lah. What to do? Anyway, so generally the program is just to understand more about you and your history lah, and your adventure.
Okay.
In
all right.
doing this.
Wow. Okay.
Right, and I'm sure there's been a few exciting moments.
Okay. Yeah.
So you can go far. You can go back as far as you want lah. Even during your MRSM days and all that. Let's understand more about you lah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Boleh. Let just go by the way. Maybe there will be in MRSM or not, or maybe something like that. Right?
So where are you from originally? Are you KL boy?
No. Actually, I'm from Kuantan. Hometown is in Kuantan. So I still have a business there lah, basically. But migrated here. Before this, I had I've been doing businesses in KL, like office in KL and all, but still back and forth lah. Means every week I will go back to Kuantan until I fully migrated to KL or Serv lah, basically since 4 years back.
Okay. So what was the business before that you still have in Kuantan?
The Kuantan one is a gym basically. So I invested in a gym. Someone like proposed to me, right? My trainer proposed to me, so I invested for that gym, like few hundred thousands for the gym. And then it didn't went well at the beginning, so I kind of took over everything and become the 100% shareholder lah at that time.
Okay.
But it went well until all this.
Until COVID lah.
Full lockdown, and then gym is normally one of the first sector that need to close, and one of the last sector, like among the last sector that can be open. So,
even worse than cinemas lah.
Yeah, cinemas open first, right?
It's already open. No, next week. This week.
This week.
Right. Man. So how did you? So that's fascinating. How did you go into that business? What were you doing at that point before that? So we need to go back in history to understand a bit more.
Oh yeah. So before that, I was just doing some businesses. So I invested in that gym, not at the moment that I am aggressive in business. So I was not so active at that time because I just exited from my previous company. So
what was that?
I was doing all this engine oil trading and also some investment in property, like housing development.
Oh, sounds like right from the beginning, you've always been doing businesses.
Yeah, from 18 years old, right? Starting from MMU days.
Okay.
So I started from just doing sort of trading. Last time there was this affiliate top up and all that lah. And then from there, expand. So I sell many things, and then until I become like apa pun boleh jual. So as long as there's an agency or something, I just Even I invested in, I rolled some money into second-hand car business,
Oh.
right? Something like custom doing now, but custom is doing it at scale. But at that time, I was doing it at a personal level. So means my friend some of my friends, few of my friends have their own second-hand car shop. So I just invested in the let's say someone wanted to trade in. So I was the one that buy the trade in car.
And then to
Before
resell
flip it
again.
over to second market lah. So something like that lah. The things
So,
that custom my tukar is doing now, but I was doing it in personal level. Oh yeah, that one is like for duit kopi lah monthly. So
so it is fascinating. How did even at 18, you're still in uni, eh? How did that passion for doing deals begin? Eh? Do you come from a family background that is always in business? How does it work for you?
So in terms of family background, my grandfather, yes, he was a businessman. But my mother, my father, my parents are basically teachers lah. Teachers and lecturers lah last time.
Okay. So how did you develop that passion for business?
So the interesting story is that my grandfather at that time, he invested in all 13 siblings of my mother, so all the children's. Like he invested each of them a business. But it didn't went well for everyone. So some of them succeed until like so many years, but some of them failed lah basically. But
that's fascinating.
my parents, yeah. so even my mom last time, she has a business. But part-time.
So this is grandfather on your mom's side lah. Your mom's father.
Yeah, okay. On my mom's side. My mom was basically, even though she was teaching, but she also invested in the business lah. But because of she was not full-time at it, so the business kind of failed lah basically.
So you saw this lah. So you saw.
Yeah,
so
I saw
you saw
this
this.
when I was a child. Yeah, I was a child.
So somehow that doing businesses then grew into you as well.
Yeah. So the funny thing is that during back to MRSM lah. You asked about MRSM, right? When everyone was like studying for SPM at that time, but what I did different was that I just listened to whatever they're studying because my roommate liked to read loudly, so I just listened to that. But at the same time, I was like, I was drawing the roadmap. So what should I do, and then how do I reach to a certain point lah? Right?
A career roadmap.
But yeah, I do a roadmap. So at first, I study first, and then go into corporate, and then reach to a certain level, and then resign, and then something like that lah. So the roadmap was like that.
Right.
But when I was like when I entered MMU, I figured out why should I wait until another like 15 years then I start my own business. At that time, my safety net is going to be higher and higher, so I will have commitment and all, right? Families, and then cars, and maybe finance and all that. So I will not be as brave as now, as brave as that moment at 18 years old, to fail, right? I will not be able to fail as I was able to fail at the age of 18, because even though I apa pun jadi, so means still I will be able, because I was still young, right? So I will be able to have that any kind of other opportunity lah. So okay, instead of starting at the age of 35, I'm not even 35 yet, right? 33 now. But why not? I just start at the age of 18. So I start by selling things lah. At that time, the lowest entry level was the top up lah, basically. No, at that time there was an affiliate, you can use your handphone. So you can buy top up using SMS, right? At that time. So I started by doing that.
So it's almost like being an agent lah, a top up agent.
Yeah, an agent, yeah.
Wow.
It was an affiliate. So I recruit some of my friends from different universities. Right, different universities. So they kind of, that top up, the affiliate program was, I think 4 levels around that, 3 to 5 levels. So I have multiple agents lah at different universities. Yeah. So
it's like a multi-level marketing lah.
It's a multi-level marketing, but it's kind of shorter. Multi-level, you can override longer, right? But affiliate is like you can only override until 5 levels.
Okay.
because the margin is tinier basically.
Right. Okay, so then you were
That's
still at
about it.
MMU, and then you finished that, and then you continued, or what
No, I
happened?
didn't finish. So basically, my background is that I dropped out 2 times.
Wow.
I dropped out 2 times. So,
Okay. So what happened the first time? I mean, if you don't mind sharing, this is like the Bill Gates story, lah. You know, all the good ones always drop out from college. Right?
so, so the first time I dropped out from MMU, right? It was actually the first year, the foundation year.
Okay.
So I feel that before then I started because feeling that I was thinking that I was taking the engineering path, right? Because of I love to be an engineer at the time. I intended to like go into, at the time the hype was mechatronic and all, because the future is robotic lah,
Right.
but the combination of mechanical and electronics, right? So at the
Yeah.
time I was thinking about going that path.
Okay.
And then but at that moment as well, because I really wanted to be an entrepreneur, but in that engineering kind of space, right? But if I start 35 years later, then I feel what will happen to me? Will I be able to dare, right, to have that failure or not? Why not? I just started now, so I kind of start a bit. So there was no intention of drop out or what, right? But went through the process until that I feel like, maybe I need to really speed this up, any kind of businesses, and maybe I should kind of change my course lah, basically from engineering to business at that time.
Okay.
But the change to business path was actually, I was thinking about maybe 1 or 2 years after that, right? So start to do some business first, and then I can always go back to education.
Yeah.
So I just drop it out, right, at that time. My scholar was Yayasan Telekom Malaysia, actually. So I need to repay back.
Okay.
Right. So,
Yeah.
so after I made the decision, I just told my parents, and then my parents said, okay, so it was your decision to enter, to accept MMU, and it's up to your decision to drop out or what.
Yeah.
It's up to your decision, because at the first place it was your decision to enter. Okay lah. So I just I just drop it out, and then I start to berkelana lah, basically do so many things.
But but before you left, did you already identify a few things you wanted to do?
Identify, but things were not as planned, actually.
Of course, yeah.
Things were not. Things were always not as planned, right? Yeah.
So what was the first thing that you did?
I just continued to top up, and then part-timely, I did some MLM last time. As part-time, because MLM, because somehow I'm quite talented. I was quite talented in that, even though like I just touched a bit and then I gained a lot of money too. But it was not as sustainable as everyone assumed lah, basically at that time. So yeah.
Supposedly all your downliners are bringing the money in, right?
Yeah. So actually, during that moment, so I just don't want to name the company and all, but I had around 2,000 downlines around that lah.
Wow.
At my 19, yeah, around that.
Wow.
So
that is big, man.
Yeah. That is big. So yeah, it was hard work and also lucky lah. So because hard work just matched the opportunity at the time. So it just went out so fast, and then all over Malaysia like that. And then I gained a lot of cash and all. But some of the leaders at that time, because of sometimes they find out another opportunity lah and all that. So I was not able to maintain that sustainability at that time. So I figured out, instead of just continue like this, right? So I started to be some sort of consultation, in terms of consultation and IT company at that time. So it was not like IT, because of the brain, I know how to count at that time.
Right.
So I become consultant to this some tauke wanted to do let's say their own MLM company and all. I just help them to design it lah.
I
Okay, you do
see.
this, this, and this.
Mm.
So you can gain like this. This is your profit margin and all.
Yeah.
You need to do this. And this is a strategy. So something like that. So
So
I
the
got
model,
paid a lot.
the
The model, I got paid a lot for this, you know.
ah,
I got paid a lot. Only a few times, but I gain a lot, like a lot. It's kind of like a 6-digit kind of gain lah, per job. Per
wow.
job.
And you were
That's
still
my
what? At that time, how old were you still?
21 around that.
Nice.
Yeah, 20 around that. Around 21. On the 12. So I got paid a lot. And then I started to save some money lah from that moment. I started to save some money in cash, I mean in the bank, and also in some before Bitcoin and all that. This is like 2007, 2008, around that, right? So there was a movement of Liberty Dollar, Liberty Reserve, you know. So I kind of put some money inside that first.
Right.
Too. Right. So and they started to trade like merchant trading inside the Liberty Reserve and Liberty Dollar. So because I have a lot of dollars inside there, so I kind of help them to trade lah. So someone buy from me, someone sell to me around
Yeah.
that, and then but I was not the one that really like look into logging that and then manage the cash and all that. But I hire someone that I hire lah, basically, to just focus on that, so I can just mingle around doing
Do
some
other
other
things.
businesses while I was still having that amount of cash when I was young. So
Okay.
yeah.
So all this was in when you were already in KL, or you were still running this out from Kuantan?
So I was still living in Kuantan, but most of my time, so during the weekdays, I was in KL lah. Because all these at that time, because all these clients lah, basically all these tauke, they were from KL lah at the time.
So how did you meet up with those guys, and how did they know that you
So-
had this knowledge?
Yeah, it was not me. That's why I said that it was not just I was so good. It's not about that, because of some knowledge meet the opportunity. So I was lucky lah. And I was not the direct person that deal with the client. So I was just a brain to that to the company, the IT company that provide the service to the client.
I see.
So I was not the real front facing lah. I was at the back lah, mostly.
So you're doing a bit of the Liberty Exchange trading, and then what else? Then what happened?
So and then after that, I started to really like form incorp a company lah, a real company, because all the cash was quite a lot for enterprise kind of company, right? Because I at first just name just my own personal account, but it was too much. The bank also advised me like, adik tak boleh ni dik. Adik kena buat. Okay, alright, okay. And then I started to have company account starting from enterprise, and then but enterprise there was a lot of limitation at that time. So I incorp a senior Bahai, mainly to take the job lah, basically, not to me anymore lah, because of the taxes that incur and all that lah. So any taxes and all that at that time I was just paying using the company lah. Expenses and all, I just use the company. And then from that moment I started to really invest in this engine oil trading. Engine oil trading. It was 2010, 11, around that. I invested in engine oil trading, and then it went well in the beginning, but also went wrong after a few months lah. So it went well. It's like at first it went not so well, and then suddenly we kind of get things back up. The first month sales was 10,000. All right. Second month was, I think the sales was 0. Second month, we kind of like figuring things out.
Yeah.
The third month was 1.2 million actually.
How did it jump
Yeah,
from that
it
to?
jumped really, really crazy. We
And
use
who's
delicate.
we? I mean, I want to understand. So how did you identify that opportunity, and then was it alone? How did you find it and did it?
So it's not really like fine as in like, okay, aim for this and then hit though. So it was just like a opportunity that comes right in front of me. At first, it counts as in Arief, boleh tak tolong abang buat ni lah. One datuk come to me like tolong abang plan all this lah, means what kind of margin and then how to roll out this program and all lah. So because of my specialty was that at that time, so I just okay lah. I help him to design, and then after that, he kind of asked me to why don't you just join me together, right? So at that time we were three person. So okay lah, let's join. And then because of it was an equal kind of split, so I just put in money too lah. So I put in money. Okay, let's start. Let's get things started. So it was not really like opportunity that I really aim. So engine oil is the business and all that. It was not that, right?
It came to
Just
you,
come in front of me.
but then you had I guess the bravery lah to say, okay lah, maybe I'll do this lah.
Yeah. Okay, let's do this. And then it kind of slowly went deeper and deeper. So okay, invested a bit, invested more and more and more lah. And then the third month it jumped really well, right? Like all the sales spike and all that. But the fourth month actually things happened, but I didn't see it at that moment.
Okay.
The person that actually asked me to join, asked me how to do it. At the very beginning, actually he did something lah.
Okay.
Kind of siphoning or swindling some amount of money lah, basically.
Right.
And then the fourth month he just tell me that, "Dek, abang terpakai duit lah." Yeah, that lah. Berapa? 200,000. Awak ambil lah kereta saya. So it was a Ferrari lah back then. It was a Ferrari. Ambil lah kereta saya.
Exchange to pay back lah.
Right? To pay back. So okay lah. I took the car, but because of the hole that has been deep, right, in the company, the debt to the supplier and also the debt to the dealers that we haven't really supplied, push the engine. We really haven't sent the engine off, but we were also at the same time was in debt to the supplier because of the money that has been like spent at that time. And then so I took the car. It was like 1 or 2 weeks before Raya at that time, but you know that normally every Raya the sales of engine always spike.
Okay.
Before COVID lah, this was like the normal years lah. That every time before Raya, so the sales of engine always spike because everyone will service their car. But at that time, because of to supply the demand, we need to pump into the supplier. So that car, that Ferrari, so basically I sold out. I just sold out to Daman. There was a showroom at Damansara, so I just sold it out to pump in back to really save the company lah. But yeah, to pump in, yes, we did kind of manage to stable down a bit, but just after that Raya, means 1 month later, I just figured out that the money that has been missing was not actually 200,000.
The hole was much deeper.
Yeah, the hole was much deeper. It was like 1.9 in total. It's like crazy. 1.9.
So what did you do?
So that 200,000, will not be able to compose the hole anymore lah. So what I did was we kind of do some restructuring at that time. I took the brand. I just took the brand because the company couldn't be saved anymore. Right, the company couldn't be saved anymore. So I had a deal with that person. So I'll take the brand, and then I'll find another producer because I cannot tutup this hole anymore.
Yeah.
So just another luck, basically, opportunity. So I was about to take out some money from my savings to actually produce by my own, because of actually at that time I was really didn't really pay attention to certain details at that time. Even the supplier price was not really good lah. The deal with the supplier. So I figured, okay, instead of this, why don't I try to produce maybe small manufacturing and all that, small production place like few hundred thousand, 600,000 around that the cost at that time. I figured out to have a small kind of kilang, kind of industrial unit. So just produce there. But at that time, I met with a friend in Kuantan. So she said that, hey, why don't you just, kenapa tak buat dengan adik saya? Adik saya pun buat minyak. Oh, okay. All right. Then I found out, okay, then her adik become my partner at that time. So we kind of produce together. So the main agenda of producing it together is not because of the margin that we get from the production. The margin at the production level is very, very low. But the thing is the cost that we will get. So the margin that we will get at the marketing level. So at the marketing company level. So we kind of combining few marketing company at that time, two, but 2%, two main owner, but we had 3 company lah. So this my partner have 2, I have 1. So we kind of producing the engine all together. Then things become better at the time. So I kind of restructuring everything. Putting back money, get back the market slowly. So it was not 1.2 million anymore because of some of the dealers like fed up already. So we need to build back the structure lah. And then after that, at the same time, because my coffee duit makan minum is from the rolling of the used car, right? So I just invested a bit, get some cash around that. So I still maintain that. Somehow to keep my personal spending afloat. Basically, I just keep doing that, and then because of that, but at that time the production company, means the manufacturing of the engine oil, did so well that because my friend, this friend is actually an owner for an international brand. It means a local brand that already have market presence at 54 countries.
Oh wow! Okay.
So when the time that he decided to use that existing brand to sell the engine oil, then we get the cost of the production very, very low because of the existing market that they have. But the thing is, because of at that time I was thinking that, okay, it was good actually if I just think about, okay, I will just settle here, right? Settle there. But the thing is, I was thinking that, okay, do I settle here or do I want to achieve further, right? I was still young, right?
Yeah.
Do I just want to just like stay there, settle there, and then like manage kilang or just do this kind of deals, right?
And life was comfortable.
Yeah. I can be comfortable, right? But my method has not been like that at that time, because I was the kind of person that always will burn the ship at the back lah, basically, so that I can move forward. Because I did that a few times since my study, right? So at that time there was another bridge, another ship at the back, right? So I feel that, okay, this is basically my safety net. So if I have the safety net, it will make me so comfortable that I will not be able to go further. So until the point that I decided to pass the whole market of our brand at that time, all the dealerships I just passed, instead of I was still managing it, but I kind of cut it off. Okay, tell the dealers from now on you can take the engine oil from this brand, from this dealer.
Right.
So that was my partner, that kilang partner brand lah, basically.
Okay.
So it is the same material, the same thing, just different packaging, right? Produced from the same place, right?
It is the same.
This is
the same oil anyway.
Yeah, it's the same. So it's the same. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, but we're not going to continue anymore lah. So any further orders and all that, you can do directly with this brand. So I cut it off. But uh, at that time I was not okay. At that time, I was still doing some sort of investment in these small property development projects.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was small, right?
Yeah.
It was small, but the thing is, property development projects, right? The small project was the one that making money.
Ah.
But at the same time, because at that time I was not really like the kind of who settle at this comfortable, like money was good and just stay here, like build 2 acres and 2 acres. But
Hmm.
at the same time that I was building the 2 acres kind of property, but I also invested my time to have like a long short kind of projects, like the number of billions and all that lah.
Ah.
Yeah, so uh, yeah, this is a long story, right? But to share here, just
We've
things
got time.
happen.
We've got time.
Yeah, we got tired. This is a long story. Just. So it was about a knowledge city actually, a knowledge city in Pahang.
Okay.
So it was my proposal at that time, and even some of the top persons in the government also know this. We had a deal with investors actually from overseas,
Hmm.
from China actually at the time.
Right.
But it just happened that the timing that happened, right? So I met with this investor at One World Hotel actually here in
Hmm.
KL.
Right.
So the CFO came and then presented to me the expensive tea lah, right? Like a courtesy, like expensive tea. And then we had a deal. Okay, we bring back. It was Wednesday, as I remember. It was Wednesday
Hmm.
at One World Hotel. And then okay, he wanted to site visit, so I even issue a letter that uh, issue a letter that saying that okay, he really has met me at that time because he need to bring back
Hmm.
that letter to acknowledge him meeting me.
Right.
And then but the same day, for the site visit at this Thursday, we were in Kuantan, so it was at my hometown house.
Hmm.
I went down to have a breakfast, and then there was a news. So it was chaos in the news about MH370.
Oh, the
Yeah,
crash. Ah, sorry, the
on
missing
that
plane.
day.
The missing plane. Huh?
Yeah, on that day. Yeah. So on that day,
You mean
and
the
then but
investor was there?
the investor was not in the flight,
Oh, okay.
but the investor was in with me in Kuantan.
Ah.
But and then it was everything okay, and then he flew back. But just a week after that, the next week after that, every deal was kind of ceased, kind of froze.
Oh. Or because
Because
of investigations, whatever lah. People don't know what's going on.
investigation and whatever. So because this company is JLC, Shanghai JLC.
I see. So any
So,
dealings with Malaysia, everything frozen lah.
yeah, I didn't.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
it
Okay.
was a big shock. I was like, wow, this deal is like crazily happening, crazily
Ah.
happening. We have deal with the state government. All this land has been plotted, right, 500 acres land.
Wow.
So this, yeah, all the proposals. It was a collaboration with another party in UK, in the Oxford.
Hmm.
So yeah, but the deal that didn't happen lah. The deal that
Okay. Okay.
supposed to fly at that time but
Ah.
didn't happen.
So what? How did
Then
what did you think at that point? How did you feel?
life has to go on. Life
Hmm.
goes on, right? So because uh, even at the very beginning, it was a long shot, right?
Hmm.
So it was not intend to be the main revenue source for me.
Hmm.
But if I get it, get it. But if I don't get it, I just continue doing all these things lah. At that time, engine oil was still running. The small developments
You're
that I
doing on the
deal with
side.
was still running. Yeah, still running. Uh,
Okay.
but at that time, even the development project, we didn't really spend so much money on, right?
Hmm.
So the method that we do is all JV. So I didn't just JV with the owner, I also JV with the contractor. There was a contractor, like big contractor, back me up. So I just managed to deal with the owner, with all this process of approval and all that, right? And then we kind of just divide the profit lah later
Right.
on. So
Yeah.
my spending, my capital was just the initial.
Right. So when that didn't happen, what did you do?
So at that time, when that didn't happen, so business was running as usual, all the other businesses, right? But I started to kind of moving out from business at that time. I started to slow down because at that time my life was divided into two lah at that time, basically. I would say, right? I gained a lot of money like from doing all the businesses, trading and all. But at the same time, I was heavily like spend my time on all these kind of NGO kind of things. NGO as in club usahawan, koperasi. So I invested a lot my money and my time for this kind of work or for this kind of purpose, right?
And this
For
is to
environment.
help out other entrepreneurs lah.
Yeah, to help out other entrepreneurs. And then I become a president of some entrepreneurs club in Kuantan, and also I checked a koperasi at that time in Kuantan.
Okay.
Right, mainly to develop all these micro entrepreneurs lah. Mostly in F&B. At this east coast of Malaysia, right? Mostly in F&B business lah at the time.
What drove you to do that? To not just think about your own profits, but to help the other entrepreneurs?
It has been like that for me. It has been like that for me. In my heart, it has been like that. So, so it has been like that. So, I think the main reason I am living in the world, right? I should have a purpose, right? So for me, it's about serving people in my own way lah. Basically, for me, it's always about in term of they have an economy, they have an social economy. So for me, it was always about that. How do I contribute more is around there, means health and social economy. So I have been doing that all the time. But at that time, it was in two split worlds lah.
Right.
This is my business world. This is in my personal world, right?
Yeah.
So there was a point that I sold all the projects. I start to let go of things in my company.
Okay.
So project one by one. Some was a good sale. Some were a good sale. Some was a good exit. Some was not a good exit. As long as I just pass it away. As long as the project can be continued. Then I could focus fully on this. Like I took 2 years actually. 2 years really focus on the NGO, on the my life things lah, basically. I checked Koperasi Pembangunan Usahawan at that time, and I become a president of club usahawan lah at that time. Just helping these micro entrepreneurs from doing part-time business to doing full-time, from not having a business, having a part-time income. So this kind of state actually. Until 2 years, I figured out that my knowledge was not really at a high level, right? Because at that moment, around 2016, around that, all these tech businesses started to popping up in not just in globally, also in Malaysia, right? At that moment was My Taxi, Uber, Airbnb, like all these kind of businesses start to pop up, right? It's about building platform. It's about technology that empowers, right? So I figured out that, okay, I don't know a thing about this, right?
You've been in the traditional business lah.
Yeah,
construction and trading.
Yeah. I don't know a thing about this. I know nothing about it, right? And then, but basically my focus at that time was to help new entrepreneurs, right? But I know nothing about it, right? About this tech, a new kind of businesses, right?
Yeah.
So during the 2 years of my kind of betapa kind of mode, right? Out from business, betapa kind of mode, I started to like go around, and then I went to forums, listening, like that was when I met at that time Ashran just become
at Magic.
at the time. Liliana Latif just became the CEO of MyNef.
Mm.
It just happened that the chairman of my company, the engine oil company, right, was actually Khalid Awang,
Okay.
one of the board of
Mm.
MyNef.
Right.
So, so there was a time in 2016. I just met Khalid Awang for actually for property project for his land lah, basically in Kuantan, to settle up things about his project, and then he said that okay, I pergi Jakarta besok, and then I also answered that okay, I pun pergi Jakarta besok, right? Something like that. So okay lah, let's meet in Jakarta. So we met in Jakarta. We met in the forum, and then he said that he need to. It was Ice and Rice Bowl at that time. Indonesian Ice and Rice Bowl, right?
Right. The competition.
So yeah, he invited me to there.
Mm.
So I just okay lah. Everyone is invited, so I just follow him to that place, and then I watched all these awards. Like at that time was Gojek. Gojek was still not maybe not a unicorn at that time, 2016, right?
Mm.
So it was Gojek who won the Indonesia level,
Mm.
and then at that time also I met Lily, right?
Mm.
So I asked Khalid, what are you doing here actually? Oh, tak tahulah, startup ni lah. I was actually and then he told me that he was actually it represents PMO lah at that time, because PMO was the one that injected the money to MyNef, so he become he represents PMO lah to become the board, right? So that was the moment that I first met Lily and also Ashray, and then okay, what is this? I was like I was totally alien, right? It's like
What is a startup?
yeah. What is a startup, right? So I don't know, right? And then come back to Malaysia. I met with Lily. So the agenda at that time was not for me to build my own business in this space, right?
Mm.
I met Lily to ask for her help, for her kind help to bring some sort of education or programs to Kuantan, actually, to the east coast of Malaysia.
Okay.
Because we have nothing like this here, there, actually, at that time. And then Lily invited me to Magic. Oh, come! I have a program at Magic. I can introduce you to some Magic folks, lah. So that was the first time I went to Magic. I read about Magic in a magazine at that time, Cheryl and all that, but I don't know a thing about it. But so I first met Magic. I went to Magic. I listened to some of what are they doing and all that. And then it took me some times as well to really like digest whatever that I have learned. Okay, how do I really bring? I know nothing about it, right? And then so I was thinking that okay, I think to really understand this, I have to be in the ecosystem. And how do I be in the ecosystem? And then I went to meet Lily. At that time, I was just wanted to help I was still selling engine oil at that time. I was still doing the trading of engine oil. And then I just wanted to help my dealer, basically, my main dealer, to how to do things differently instead of getting into the red ocean of supplying to the workshops. Why don't we do things differently? So the original idea was just to help him, right? How can we? Why don't we really look at this? Look at this space, right? How can we really innovate in this space? So at first it was to help him, but he was like he didn't want to, right? At that time he didn't want to, means he still wants to continue with his way of doing things. So I feel like okay, instead of because he didn't want, right, instead of hoping for him to wanting it, why don't me myself like jump into this?
Just
right?
do it lah.
So yeah, and then it has been 2 years. Okay, let's jump back lah. Let's jump into this. So I made that decision.
So how was that Serv? Was that your first idea then?
Yeah. So it was an idea, but it was not Serv. So it was not named as Serv at that time. Right. It was not named as Serv. So I just used my old company, the engine oil company, to be some sort of incubator lah, for the idea. So I operate using that Daga Petroleum, but incubate this idea.
So what was the original idea?
Original idea is actually it was like helping people to get car servicing at their doorsteps without going to the workshops. So it's like a similar idea to all these on demand lah. The idea was just like that at the time. So okay, we try, and then the name Servo's name actually not because of service, right? So Serv is actually because of my purpose of serving people. So I want to, how do I unify this idea of me, myself, serving people, and just try to combine it sustainably into my own company. So then we name it Serv lah at that time.
Okay. So how was that? How was that journey from knowing nothing to let me try and do this startup? So what did you do?
So the journey was I need to drink a bit. So I reached out to people. I reached out to Lily first. I went back to meet Lily at her office, right? How? And then do this, and then she called me orang minyak at that time because I sell engine oil, right?
Yeah.
Orang minyak.
This orang minyak from Pahang.
Orang minyak from Pahang.
Yeah.
and then I started. But it was a totally different kind of me lah. So I was the kind of person that wear all this long sleeve all along, right? Every time, all the time.
Corporate lah sikit. Yeah.
Corporate lah sikit lah, long sleeve and batik and all that lah. And batik with someone else driving me and all that lah. Basically at that time. So thinking about, okay, I have to be in the ecosystem. So how do I be in the ecosystem? So I need to put aside all the knowledge that I have known, all the traditional business knowledge that I've known previously, right? So yeah, let's make it zero. Let's make it an empty pot so that I can pour new water. So what I did was I rented a co-working space in Magic. Actually, I went back to Magic. Okay, I went back to Magic. It was so, and then I went back to Magic. And I rented a co-working space. I rented an island there to start, right?
Yeah.
But how I started was a bit weird. So supposedly, starting at co-working space, we just take one table. But me, because I feel like one table, this is one table. How is it possible to just work in one table? Okay, I want to take one island. So something like that lah.
Right. But how many people were there? How many people did you have at that point? Or was it just you?
Me and some partners lah. So I gathered some of my friends. So we actually there were 3 of us starting, and then there were already like some of my my friends lah that become dealers that help us with the early market lah basically. And then some slim programs trainees at that time.
Right.
So there were 6 of us lah. There were 6 of us, and then because of it's a community kind of business, so we kind of call all the workshops mechanics, freelance mechanics, ways to really like digest and then discuss about this idea. And then my partner was the tech guy lah at that time. So we had this idea actually. At Indonesia, like in Jakarta, before we were thinking that okay, let's do this by ourselves. In Jakarta, we just had this discussion lah during the gala dinner. We just had to say, oh, kenapa tak buat bengkel ni biar dia pergi dekat rumah orang lah. Oh, okay, boleh juga idea dia, something like that lah. While waiting for Jokowi and Najib lah, PM Najib at that time, to come for the dinner, right? So we were in at one of the table discuss about that.
Right.
And then
that was the birth of the idea.
That was the birth of the idea. So after a few weeks, then I went back to meet Hazim, my partner at that time. Right, Hazim, let's do this. And then Hazim tahu, saya ingat kita main-main je. No, let's do this. Let's do this. And then we went a bit more serious. Started to build the app, landing page first, Facebook page first, and then
what year was this?
This was 2017.
Okay. So that was
So
about
we
4 years
started
ago.
the idea around end of 2016. This Jakarta thing was, I think, September 2016.
Hmm.
But I started to run Magic at Magic November, around November 2016.
Hmm.
Serv was named. So we have this logo. First landing page was up around early of 2017.
Hmm.
But without company at that time. We
Right.
just incubated the petroleum company.
Okay.
So we built first product. First app was actually useless. Okay.
That's
The app
honest.
was
Huh?
okay. Okay, the version was like this. So we built the first version, the 0 point something version.
Right.
At the same time, we started to validate the market. Okay, we took orders using WhatsApp.
Yeah.
We already validated the idea because they were because we already start operating even using WhatsApp lah.
Yeah. Yeah. So there were customers lah. There was demand.
There were demands, right?
Hmm.
And then we started taking orders using Facebook page, landing page. There were demands, right? And then at the same time, we started to build the app. So the first version 0.001 or something that didn't really go live, right? The
Yeah.
0 point something version was actually we built using Ionic. So when we were building it, suddenly Ionic upgrade, Ionic 1 to Ionic 2. And then my partner said that we need to rewrite everything. Why do we scrap all this? And then, oh damn, okay. Scrap all this. So, okay, how do we do? Now people are talking about React Native. React Native was not the norm at that time. People don't know about React Native. Facebook was the only, started with Facebook. Facebook was the one of the first, and then was the only one because it was theirs to start with React Native. And then we were one of the first company, one of the first startup that used React Native at that time. So some of my friends said that React Native, kenapa guna React Native? But so we just go on. We start to build React Native using React Native. So my CTO, my partner back then, he didn't really know React Native, but he knows this tech. He was the CTO, but he kind of managed it. So we kind of sub the development to certain. We kind of sub to certain programmers lah, certain developers lah, using contract. So basically, so we built the first version.
Yeah.
Okay, so we went back to the process agile method and all that. I learned a lot back then how to do scrums and all that, right? And then during Magic, so one of my intention to enter Magic was to get into the Global Accelerator Program GAP at that time, 2017. Right. So we one of the company that get into GAP by just using prototype. So because our MVP was not live yet.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we have prototype. We have a clear timeline where are we going to go live, and then we have tractions ready. So at that time we have 70 customers around that. 70 customers. I remember I got into it. Sam was one of the judges.
Okay. Sam Shafi. Yeah.
Sam Shafi, Sam Shane, one of the judges. So we got into it. And then we go live. But the thing is that the first version, it was so stressful to get it live. So many things like bugs, tax law, and all this. It was my first time. I don't know about this thing last time, right? And then we go live. Serv was incorporated around July 2017. So we go live end of September. During the gap time, because we promised the gap team to go live, right? During the gap. So we go live. When we go live, I was so happy, right? Wow, happy. At last. So it goes live.
Yeah.
But the thing is, after things goes live, right? So we went, we've been waiting for matching basically. We got demands at that time. But the thing is, we validated the demands, but we didn't really go deeper into the process, how the matching should be like.
Matching between the customers and the workshops.
So our assumption at that time was it's going to be like Grab or Uber. But the difference between these workshops and Grab and Uber was Grab and Uber, basically the Grab drivers, when they click available, right, they will put the phone in front of their face, gantong in the car, and then just wait for the ping. So, and then they just accept and then go.
Okay.
But the thing about us is that the phone is not in front of the face. The phone is in the drawer at the workshops.
Ah,
So when,
so they don't hear
when
it.
they're not aware of the thing.
Oh no.
They're not aware of the thing.
So that's such a basic. It's not even technology problem, right? It's just a it's
Yeah.
human nature problem, lah. The phone is not
Hmm.
there.
The phone is not there. So during that September, 30th September, so the first month, October, we just got one matching. One matching that happened. That so others are like, we need
And
to call back the customer.
how many requests?
I forgot about it. I forgot the numbers, but but mostly we need to call back the customers, and then we need to call, and then manual schedule, and then
Right.
we need to call the mechanic, the workshop, to arrange with them to just go.
Right.
But we were lucky because of at that time, most of the workshops we have around 5 to 6 available workshops that are very close to me.
Okay,
Like
friends
very
lah.
close to me. Yeah, it's like a friends lah, all friends lah, basically very close. So whenever I ask, they will go. So so we got this help lah, basically. But most of them just into it, not because of the the idea or what, they just believe in us, like they just trust me lah. But after a while, then because of they saw that okay, there are so many merchants already, then okay lah. So can go by their own lah, right? So, but that matching, right, that one matching in October was actually being set up, not organic. So my partner said that, yeah, I nak service kereta lah, you boleh tolong arrange ni tak? And then so I called one of the mechanic.
Can you use the
telling
app
that,
to accept it?
yes. So there will be order, there will be ping on this date at this time. It's a standby. So and the match happened on October at that time.
Okay.
So one match that happened. So we need to figure out how do we do about this lah. But things happen that Serv went viral. The app went viral actually. Went viral on around October, around that. So because of one is because of the demo day of Magic. So Vulcan started to post about it, and then there was one customer. So because we need to call the customers, do the arrangements for customers, right? For them, it is meant to be like that. So I place order, and then someone call me, and then arrange workshops to come, because all these other companies, other startups, and even Grab, all these other even tech giants are not so automated at the time. So they are okay.
There's a manual lah, that somebody is not through the app all the way lah.
Yeah. So I think at that time people accept it. So it means they request, and then someone call. So they think that it was like that. It was meant to be like that. Right? But actually, someone called because it doesn't work. So, but because of the high touch, we maintain high touch. So we kind of know, like all the hundreds, I think up to the first 100 customers, we kind of know. I even remember at that time, I even remember all the plate numbers. Oh, this one, location here. Oh, this one, location here, right?
Yeah. You really know your customer lah.
Yeah, the plate number. So because of the high touch, one of the customers, one of the users, tweet about us. So she tweets, dear girls out there, these are the on-demand services that you need to know so that you don't have to rely on your useless boyfriend. So there were 22 in the list. Number one was, I think it was Grab / Uber, and then Goka, Kapu. Number 4 was us, Serv, and then number 5 was the lorry and all lah. Along the list, right? So it got retweeted. The tweet got retweeted around thousands of times. Right. And then some people, even some all this viral, even Facebook page, screenshot the tweet and then posted it on Facebook. It was normal now, but at that time it was just new that
So it was
people.
viral lah, really viral lah.
Yeah, it was viral, right?
Mm.
And then some people even list it down in WhatsApp and circulate back in the WhatsApp, circulate around the WhatsApp until it arrived back to me and all that.
Ah.
So just remember thousands retweet, thousands shares, and thousands of people at that time try to download
Right.
our useless app.
Yeah.
So just imagine how crazy it was, like.
Yeah.
So
I mean, on one hand, exciting, but on the other hand, oh my God, we got all these people who we have to call back. So then what happened?
And then okay, at that time, okay, I need to reach out to people that really like knows well about this lah. Senior startups lah.
Yeah.
So then maybe they went through this, right? So how do I really do the matching, right? So
at that point, did you know the problem was that the mechanics didn't hear the pig?
Yeah, I know. That's why. Yeah, we figured out already, but we don't know how do we revamp this? Like, oh, this is crazy, right? Do we really go? Do we just push through, or do we like hold back and all? How do we really know how to really solve this, right? And then I met with Azrul at the time, Made Easy. It was like during Majlis. Okay, the thing is, this happened was after Raya, so it was the month of Raya. So there was a program Buka Puasa, the Hari Raya.
Hari Raya gathering,
Hari
open
Raya
house
program, Hari Raya gathering, open house. I think it was MDEC Rezeki or something. So I met with Azrul, asked him, how do you do this? And then he said that actually in the beginning, just go manual. Just take the orders using WhatsApp until you really cannot do it, then you will find a way how to really automate it. Oh, okay, all right. Go manual. And then I reach out to other people, and then I also reach out back to Lily and Linda, the mindef, right, at that time. So reach out to them, they say that go manual. So but how do we do about this system that we already developed off command? Off command, just use the app and then scrap the provider app first. Okay. Right. So we made the decision to really scrap it, revamp it, so the app become a booking system. So only at the front is the same, but nothing happened at the back.
Right.
So
I mean, manually lah. The back is you get the orders lah.
Just the booking, take orders, and then we call customers, because at the end of the day, even when it was connected with the provider app, also we have to call and match things back manually, right? So why don't we just cut it off and then manage manually? So 2018, actually we went manual.
Okay.
Manual. Right. So the app was actually a lot like lower versions of technology, but it works.
It's like a channel, right? It's an interface
to like
get the order.
So the whole 2018, and then it went well basically. But at that time we could only take around 5 orders a day, maximum.
So how many people were manning the phones?
3.
Okay.
3, but not everyone like just taking care of the phone. Like gila-gila lah. Sometimes it's me, sometimes it was my friend, it was my team. So, and then 2018, okay, we could only take 5, but another viral happened. So normally, right, the graph is like, so discuss everything before Hari Raya. Normally the demand spikes.
Yeah.
And then after Raya, the demand will went down a bit. So 2018, and then we worked so hard before the Hari Raya, so because there were demands, like until even we could only take 5, but we got 7 requests, 7 jobs, 7 to 10 jobs a day, right? So that is already like above.
It's maximum already lah.
It's maximum already. We had one provider that even take 7 jobs a day at that time. 2018.
But then when you had that limit of about 5 a day, what was the limitation?
The limitation is because we need to match, we need to call the provider, and then also it's a chicken and egg things, because we don't have enough providers available. right?
I see.
So
Okay.
they need the bengkel basically need to go out from their space. It
Mm.
was not the norm. Now everyone started to do
Yeah.
mobile jobs, right? Back at the time, no.
I see.
So we need to really sometimes. So we are providing jobs, but we need to really like ask for their for their
It's
good
almost
help,
like
for
a
their kind
favor lah.
help, a favor to support us, right?
Mm.
So even though we're paying money, it's like
Mm.
few hundreds ringgit of going out, right?
Yeah.
But because of the thing is, because the demand at their place also comes at the same time.
Mm. The walk-in is there anyway.
Yeah, the gain is there because if it's before Raya, then before Raya, they have demands too, right?
Yeah.
Even they are not they are under capacity too, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Even they
And,
cannot attend their customers. How can they go out, right?
yeah.
So for going out, it's actually a favor to help us.
Mm. Sorry. So
So
what happened is the second viral. So before Raya.
hmm, the second virus actually happened after Raya.
Yeah.
So before Raya, so despite even went out, but it's still manageable. Even 10 jobs, 7 jobs, it's still manageable, even though it is already above the capacity. But and then my partner at that time, Safi at that time, he was the one that take care of the operations. So he took a longer leave lah, like 2 weeks after Raya. From Raya, 2 weeks lah. The Raya leave for 2 weeks because too tired of handling before Raya demand. So I come back earlier, and then one of my team, Sabrina, at that time also come back one day after me. So, but the thing is, even come back earlier after. So normally Hari Raya, I was the one that become the customer support lah during Hari Raya, right? Because the phone is with me.
Yeah.
So, and then it was Wednesday, so I started to go around lah because it was after Raya. So I figured, okay, demand is not much, so why don't I just go every jobs I just attend together with the workshops,
Right.
so that I really can talk to the customers lah. Basically, I can really work with the customers lah to really learn about the demand. Okay, that was Wednesday. So I go out around, and then what happened was Thursday, the write-up that Bernama did for us earlier, actually, even before puasa. So just went out on that Thursday after Raya. And Bernama posted the article, right? The write-up. And then Malaysia Kini also posted the write-up, repost the write-up.
Okay.
At around 11 or 10, around that. So the thing is, 10 a.m. or 11, around that lah. I 10 or 11. Every 1 minute after that, there was one order coming.
And you were
Every
alone
1 minute.
going around.
And
you and Sabrina.
I don't we were 2 person at the time. Holy. We went for until 1 hour. So in 1 hour we got 54 orders actually, 54 booking.
Right.
In 1 hour. And then at that time the numbers went down lah after that 1 hour.
Yalah, tak jawab macam mana.
Tak jawab. Yeah. So
then what happened?
yeah, the thing is we could only attend 5. Okay.
Yeah.
So to manage all the calls, right, and then to arrange the schedules until next day, the next day, and next day, right. So it took us until 6 o'clock that day, 6 something o'clock to finish up all the customers, all the calls, and then rearrange and also cancel and all that.
Okay.
So so at that time we figured, okay, so we need to step up, or we need to level up the tech lah, basically.
Now the back end needs to be automated lah. Cannot be manual.
Yeah, automated lah. Automated.
Okay. So that was 2018. So I guess then after that, surely the platform didn't happen immediately, right? So you had to do manual survive first lah.
Yep. So we released the next versions after we really connect the provider, we automate it, and then the process automation also we did it step by step. Last time we tried to build everything like in one go. Means last time the imagination was zero human intervention, so it should be like no admin at all, right?
Yeah.
Someone order, boom, right? Then the signal go ping and then go, right? But it didn't work like that. So we need to really like go manual, automate a bit lah. So even the process was ready to go out full automations, but some of the process we still did it manually at the time. So we can, okay, this is ready to automate, then we automate. We kind of just switch on the automation lah.
Okay.
A bit and bit.
That's cool.
So we learn the hard way lah, basically. Really hard way lah.
So right now, what is your volume like? I mean,
So,
okay, I don't know right now because then there's got COVID. So,
right now it's COVID lah, because actually last 2 months the transaction number of every merchant, right, went down around more than 90% actually.
Yeah, because you can't even open, right? There was a period when even workshops were closed, right?
Workshop were closed. But in September, even though it's like just early of September, we almost get even the total transaction value is the same number, almost the same number as last month. So it means that the numbers are picking up.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. So I mean, now that you've survived and the workshops, hopefully they are able to survive and open again. So things should be picking up, right? So in terms of geography, what's your service location like?
It's nationwide actually.
So at the beginning, when there was only like 5 orders a day, where was that? Was it just Klang Valley, or where was your friends?
Klang Valley actually. Klang Valley. Klang Valley, Cyberjaya, Putrajaya.
Right. At that point lah. So but now it's nationwide.
It's nationwide. So we started to go nationwide to be available nationwide starting from last year. In July last year. Last time it was just service on the go, right? So we make evolution of the product. So we introduced drive-in basically. So at the merchant's end, means at the workshop end, we provide a workshop management system. So they can actually, it's an open-ended kind of technology. It's not closed-ended. Closed-ended means only users from Serv app is able to go to their place and then use the system. But for us, we make it open-ended, means they can even use the system even for transactions not from the Serv user. Because before this, the take-up rate was lower last year when we start to introduce the drive-in, because this workshop basically they need to open, they need to use multiple systems to manage. Right, users from Serv app need to use Serv system, but users from other place need to use other system. And then that other system, the thing is, these workshop industry, right? These automotive aftermarket industries, in terms of digitalization, they are very underserved. So even POS system is not catered to them. So we find a gap there. So instead of, okay, let's provide a solutions for the management system, for the workshop management system, with or without Serv app, they should be able to use it. So when we started to roll out, we see take up, good take ups, and then we figure out, okay, now is about, it should be not dependent not dependent to the app. It should be independent. Both products can be standalone. That's our direction but still connected.
Okay.
So now we kind of focus more on the workshop side. So the app becomes secondary. For a while, as you
can make your booking, that's good enough lah.
Yeah, it's good enough. As long as they can make booking, it's good enough. But we seems that because we already acquired in this 1 year, starting from Q3 last year to now, we acquired around 500 workshops. And then now is the process of activating it to get them to really use it. So yeah, we work hard on that because PKP, right? Because we introduced a new system, they can't even open, right? Their mood was down and all that, right? So
it's bad lah. Yeah.
So we approach it differently. We built some kind of community, kind of community building kind of way. So we do this webinar sharing from a more successful workshops, and then tips and all that about how do you make decisions using data. How do you really, if you have early bookings, if people bookings earlier, what can you do about it? You can actually manage your supply better and all that. And then all the systems is all in Serv app. It's all available in Serv Workshop system. So we approach it in that way. So even without them having transaction at that time, like few months back, but they already started to sign up. Now when things started to open, we are seeing the take up, the usability, the activation is getting like higher. Like, it grows like last month was 3x than previous month, and then this month even few days, like it's already achieving last month's number. So we are seeing that so the
demand is
irrigation
coming back,
system
right?
is there. So it's just about to open lah. So let the flood comes in lah. So let the water comes in lah.
Okay. Cool. Hey, actually, it's already 6:15. Sorry lah, taking up so much of your time. Tapi I've got one last question, right? Just to go back to your own, the reason why you did this in the first place was for you to learn and immerse yourself, right? In this startup world. So now that you've been doing it for the last 3-4 years, so what are you gonna do? Are you gonna now take this knowledge back to your NGOs and help others in Kuantan, Pahang, to build their own startups now that you've gone through it? Or are you going to, okay, actually now I'm just going to do Serv lah. This is your new thing. Oh, what's your plan now?
Okay, so actually, both are right. So both your answers just now was right. Doing Serv, focus is going to be Serv, because but we position Serv as in there are community buildings element inside. So it's still about empowering all the businesses to serve their customers better, right? Using our system. So basically, it is still serve the same purpose as my purpose last time, as what I've been doing last time, but in a different way. But at the same time, I already started to be more active in helping the NGOs that I lead last time. But helping in the background lah, not as the chairperson or the lead lah, basically. So but I help the leaders of them to give more inputs, to kind of coach them lah, basically. So I do both lah, basically. But my focus is still Serv, because we still build community, we still empower the businesses in that way.
Okay, cool, man. Hey, very nice to talk to you. Quite an unexpected journey, right? I mean, I've heard of serial entrepreneurs, but I think you are one of the unique real entrepreneurs, right? Doing all kinds of things.
Oh yeah, I think I haven't shared my second dropout, right?
No. So you only spoke about MMU. So what was your second dropout?
The second dropout, when I was doing all this angel oil trading, right? So I went into a professional course in the UK, in the Oxford, a school in Oxford, a management school in Oxford, and then from there, so I finished up the professional set, but from there I got a recommendation to go into a DBA lah, basically educational path, academic path.
Okay.
So there was some sort of credit transfers and all that, so I don't need to attend all the classes. I just need to top up some of the classes, because I learned the same things during my professional set, right? I kind of went there around once or twice a year at that time. But I finished all the class, all the modules. I finished up all the modules.
Okay.
And then but the last time, the final one, before I took the cert, I already started Serv at that time, and suddenly the pound gets really expensive compared to Malaysian ringgit.
Okay.
From 5, I remember at that time, from 2017, 2016, around that, from 5 ringgit to 6.8 or 7.2, around that, right? So at that time, I feel like, okay, this is getting so expensive. Like it was an extra 5 digit, just by
the exchange rate,
by the exchange rate, but by the few points, by the 1 point something, it was already extra 13,000, as I remember. And then, okay, I feel that, okay, I already learned all the modules. I finished up the module. In terms of learning, in terms of the knowledge, I got it. Right. The only matters, the only things that left is the certificate.
Yeah, the piece of paper.
But I didn't. Yeah, it's the paper, right? It was the paper. So if I pay that, then I was officially a DBA, right? I officially get my DBA. But if I don't pay, I got the knowledge, right? But my DBA becomes not official lah. But at that time, I already started Serv, right? And then diving into startups, it was a totally different level of journey. At the time, all my businesses back then, it only took me like few months to gain certain numbers of money, certain amount of money. But at that time, starting Serv, after few months also like, oh, belum jadi. After few months belum jadi. 1 year also still suffering, right? And then I feel like, okay, instead of me paying the paper, right, this 5-digit number, 5-digit amount to pay the paper, why don't I just reserve this cash, right, to float myself? Because I think the journey of me to get into profitability, to get into to stable down, to stable up Serv, I think it's going to be longer than I assume lah, basically. So I just
drop out lah. But I think, but I think the lesson I hear there is you are not doing it for that piece of paper so that you can use it for what, right? You're not going to go. So you're not going to go. You're not going to apply for a job.
Right? Yeah.
Right? You don't. It doesn't sound like you have an ego need to. Hey, I've got this piece of paper, right?
Yeah.
And it's the knowledge. Yeah. And I think the real life education by running Serv is a lot more valuable.
Yeah, and then I feel like because it's so, right, I feel that I learn more than get into these certain courses, right? Because and then learn more and then in a faster pace, like crazier, faster pace.
Yeah. In fact, probably the course validates some of the real life things that you've done.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It makes become more useful anyway. Yeah. But you are doing it for the right reason, like you're not doing it because you want a piece of paper. Right? You want to be able to run your business better, right?
Yeah. And then even because I already did I was already in the businesses for quite a while, right? Then when I took the course, the professional course, basically some of the modules is just about, it was like all the things that I have done langgar, like I've been hitting the walls and all that, all the things that I langgar and then I did in my own way. It's kind of okay. Actually, there was a module for this, and then what I did was right, but then what I did was some of it was right, and then some of them was wrong. But actually, there was an official module that says things about this, right? It was like that. So I learned faster at that time.
And you'll remember too, because you actually experienced it. Right?
Oh, makes sense. Oh yeah, this happened already. Right?
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. And I think sometimes I wonder if, everybody who goes through uni, even my own kids, right? I'm arranging for them, go to college, then go uni and all that. Then sometimes I wonder, but you know what, in real life, if, like you said, you are very clear of what you wanted to do, you learn from real life is probably more valuable than spending the 2-3 years in university and college, right? 5 years total maybe. Right? Unless you want to do something like, I don't know, medicine or architecture, then you need to learn the skill. But if it's about, businesses and things like that, perhaps you can learn on the job, right?
Yeah, even now, still, even though I didn't go to universities anymore after that, right? But now even on my weekends, instead of learning about business, right? So actually, the things that I watch and read are mostly about life science, physics, and all from Stanford, because it's all live on YouTube, right? So we can actually attend the course in YouTube, like listen to the lecturers talking about physics. So I think it's kind of refreshing to learn about something else than business when you've been like reading about business things all the while on the weekdays, right? Why don't you just try to figure out something else on the weekend?
In fact, you're not even reading it, right? You are running it. You're going through it. Right? Yeah. But I guess maybe it's only when there is some new concept, right? I don't know what it is. Maybe Startup 2.0, right? On how you operate a new thing altogether. But anyway, that's amazing, man. Amazing story. Amazing adventure.
It's thrill and impressive. Like it's a good experience, a very great experience, basically.
Yeah. And it's just started. You're still very young. You still got many years to go. Yeah. So definitely we'll catch up with you again in 6 months time, in a year's time, and see how things are lah.
Yeah.
Cool. Hey, thanks Arief. Thanks for your
All
time.
right. Yeah. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Thanks, man. Okay, I time out. I'll cut it there.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So
Bye.
cool, man. So nanti hopefully lah when things open up lagi kita jumpa lah, borak-borak.
Yeah.
Sembang-sembang.
Kopi. All right.
Actually, there's a lot of things that I'm working now in. Ni Amran Ethical lah.
Oh, I'm ready. Okay.
So there's a lot of things that I think definitely we need to collaborate on lah, because I'm working on the part of the business right now, yang on the towing services and all those things. And we want and we are expanding the services into workshops and things also lah. Right?
Okay.
So I think there's a lot of things that we can work and collaborate on lah. Nanti we discuss.
Boleh.
Kan?
Nice.
Okay, bro.
Okay. All right.